Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Minnesota.
For 25 years, your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Twins and the Tigers resume their series tonight at Target Field. Final meeting of the year between these clubs, with Detroit trying to wrap up their third consecutive American League Central Division championship. The magic number is down to 1. Cleveland won in dramatic fashion last night, and the Indians have the lead tonight against Chicago. If that holds, the Tigers need a win over the Twins here at Target Field to wrap up the title. Welcome to Target Field with Roy Smalley. I'm Anthony LaPanta. So much is made for the Tigers about the big guys in the middle of the lineup, Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder, and they've had a big season. But the guys who hit second and fifth, Torii Hunter and Victor Martinez, have very quietly posted impressive numbers. Roy, they've combined to hit over 300 with 31 home runs and 166 runs batted in.
I have thought for most of this season that the most significant addition, or at least difference, in the Tigers lineup this year is having Victor Martinez healthy and swinging the bat like he can behind Cabrera and Prince Fielder, a guy that hits from both sides of the plate. It makes the opposing manager job and knowing how to try to set up the bullpen and the matchups very, very difficult. And then, of course, you've got Torii Hunter in the second slot, that not just an on-base percentage guy, but a guy that can hit doubles. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and he has the kind of mental makeup to drive in the tough runs against before Miguel Cabrera gets there.
Hunter's had a huge series so far for the Tigers. 6 hits already in the first 2 games. Tonight they'll be supporting one of the Cy Young candidates, Max Scherzer. More on his matchup with the Twins next.
By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. and by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
We are at Target Field tonight, final game of the year between the Tigers and the Twins. The Tigers can clinch the American League Central Championship. And Chris Parmalee swinging a hot bat for the Twins, hoping to delay the Detroit party. Been swinging a really good bat for the Twins. He's in the middle of the lineup again here tonight for the Minnesota Twins. And we welcome you to Target Field. Another beautiful night for baseball. Dick and Bert with you. Here's how good the Tigers are. A couple years ago, they had a Cy Young Award winner. His name was Justin Verlander. They may have another Cy Young Award winner, and it's not Verlander. It might be Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer in his third season with the Detroit Tigers having an outstanding year. 20 wins, only 3 losses. He started the season 13-0 over his first 18 games he pitched, and definitely the front runner in that Cy Young Award category. And there's some good names on that, but Max Scherzer, yeah, he's getting some run support, but he's also doing a great job. One thing, you look at the ERA, we don't have that on there. Scherzer at 3.0 ERA, needs to get it into the T2s where Chris Sale, Darvish, and Cologne's earned run averages are. Chris Sale is pitched outstanding, but again, he's with the losing ball club. Will the writers look at that? Right now, to me, it's Max Scherzer, the Cy Young Award winner.
Coming off his 20th win of the year, he'd like to go for win number 21 tonight. And for the Twins, Kevin Correia making his 4th attempt at win number 10.
Yeah, Kevin Correia has been pitching very good baseball as of late. Now, his record really doesn't show it, but over his last 8 starts, an earned run average over 3 or under 3. And he's making his 3rd start this year against the Tigers. First 2, very, very good.
Well, the Twins will hope to win this series against the Detroit Tigers. They'll try to get Ron Gardenhire his 999th win as manager of the Twins. And they'd like the Tigers celebration to be held sometime later in Miami, Florida, where the Tigers are heading after the game here tonight. It's the Twins and the Tigers for the final time here at Target Field.
Games here. The Twins coming back late to win 2 nights ago. Last night, the Tiger bullpen stiffened up. Jim Leyland hoping that his Tigers can clinch their 3rd straight division championship here tonight. They have an off day tomorrow scheduled in Miami. They'll close out the season against the Marlins. So into that off day, they have this Menards batting order. Austin Jackson leading off. Torii Hunter batting second. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez, Andy Dirks, Omar Infante, Alex Avila, and Ramon Santiago.
And Kevin Correia pitching tonight for the Twins, making his 31st start, his third against the Tigers. Now, he has not beaten the Tigers yet this year, but a very good in the 2 starts combined, 2.63 ERA. And his 6th career start against the Tigers, all 5 have been quality starts.
First pitch over for a strike. The most encouraging thing about Correia, who has pitched at a level the Twins expected when they signed him. The most encouraging thing, I think, Bert, is that he's pitching just fine in September. We didn't see that until the other night from Mike Pelfrey in September. And of course, Pelfrey going through the arm surgery a little over a year ago. He's going through some issues. Correia is not. But Correia under contract to the Twins for next year, and it's nice to see that there is some consistency throughout his season.
Yeah, you know what? His first 5 starts in April, he was 3-1, 2.23 ERA, and then he started to struggle a little bit in May and June. But as of late, we showed you the numbers over his last 8 starts, an ERA under 3, even though he's only won a couple ball games.
You know, I said consistently, consistency for him. He's shown some consistency. He's had, I guess, an inconsistent year, month to month, but he's pitching fine in September, which is nice to see. 3-1 to Jackson, and a ball hit to right center field, chased by Herman, and he won't get there. That ball carrying, one hopping the wall, and Jackson will streak around second and open the ball game with a triple. A ball that kept carrying to the gap, and neither Presley nor Herman could get there.
Yeah, even though the flags are pretty limp out in right field, that ball did look like it just kept carrying. Remember his home run off of Diamond? He just dropped the barrel of the bat and the ball jumped out in the bullpen area. But there, over the glove of Herman, and Jackson with his 6th triple of the year for the Tigers, their 22nd overall triple.
And here is Torii Hunter. 3 hits on Monday night, 3 hits last night, the average at .303. And the Twins will, of course, play the infield back. And Hunter chases an 89-mile-per-hour fastball.
You know, when you start a game like that, a triple, as a pitcher, you say, okay, I'm down 1-0. Do not let this multiply into, multi-run innings. So, Jackson just hit the ball the other way. Kevin Correia knows, 9 out of 10 times Jackson's going to score. Now get 3 straight outs if you can.
Correia having a hard time throwing strikes.
Well, he had a tough time in Oakland throwing strikes. 5 innings, he walked a season high 5 in that outing. Threw 101 pitches, and that's unlike Correia. He's usually, maybe for 7 innings he'll throw 101.
He's never pitched 200 innings in a season, and he won't pitch that many this year.
198 is the most he pitched, and that was back in 2009. But I think the Twins knew exactly what they were getting when they signed Kevin Correia. Give me 180 innings and hopefully get some run support and win, from 12 to 15 ball games.
A foul ball, a high one, a high fastball fouled back 1-2. If you want to label the rest of the starting rotation as being underachieving for the Twins, I'm not going to argue that point, but I will argue the point that the Twins have gotten their money's worth from Correia. He has done what he had done for all his clubs in the National League.
He came in with a 4.54 earned run average over his major league career before he became a Twin. Good pitch right there.
Missed the outside corner.
And, he comes into this ball game with a 4.29. Take a look at his last pitch. Got the black right there. Who's
the
behind
fictional
the plate? Field and Colbert.
The fictional black part of the strike zone.
Well, you'd like to have that pitch. The 1-6 outside, too.
Driven foul off the bat of Hunter. 11 years ago, Hunter and the Twins got into the playoffs, won a playoff series against Oakland. And were stopped short in the ALCS by the Angels. 2-2. And a base hit up the middle. 7th hit of the series for Hunter, and a quick 1-0 lead for the Tigers.
Torii picking up his 84th RBI of the year.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Darren Mastroianni in left, Alex Presley in center, Chris Herman in right. Blue, Florimon, Dozier, Parmalee the infielders, Pinto back behind the plate again. Miguel Cabrera the batter. Twins starting pitching and relief pitching as well has had some success with Cabrera pounding him inside off the plate, shattering his bats, getting some ground balls. And Correia left that out over the plate and got a foul ball.
Yeah, Cabrera against Correia, 11 hits in 25 at bats with a home run. That's a .440 batting average. He's in line to win his 3rd American League batting title. It would be 3 years in a row that he would win the batting title.
And then Correia missing up high with most of his pitches.
There are the numbers I was talking about. Only a couple punch outs in 25 at bats. For a big man as strong as he is, he does not strike out a lot. That being Cabrera.
Nice pickup by Florimon to Dozier. And all kinds of time to complete the double play. It was a tough hop for Florimon, but he snagged it and started at 6-4-3 double play.
Yeah, and like in last night's ball game when Cabrera ended the first inning on a double play, Dozier knows that Cabrera's not getting that down that line very quickly. So he has plenty of time to tag the bag. And Cabrera, even though that pitch was up, hits into his 19th double play.
Hunter with the RBI single, bases empty, 2 down, and here's Fielder. The White Sox Cleveland game is an hour or 3 innings ahead of where we are. They're already in the 4th inning, Cleveland leading 2-1. And with the magic number being 1, if the White Sox were to come back and win that game, we might have the same scenario that played out Sunday in Oakland, where the team in the field clinched but couldn't quite celebrate yet. There's another pitch left up by Correia. Everything is up around the belt or letters.
Early on, you're going to get up because you're trying to overthrow. You've had some time off. Correia, again, only 5 innings in his last start last Thursday. And here it is Wednesday, so he's had 5 days off. You have to tell yourself, get back down. How do you do that? Stay a little bit longer over that pitching rubber and try to create that downward plane. Throw a couple of them in the dirt just so you get that angle again.
2-1.
You don't want to make too many mistakes to Fielder. And every pitch so far has been out over the plate.
Cost him a triple in Jackson's at bat. And eventually a run. 2-2.
Fielder in his 2nd season with the Tigers, 5-time All-Star. Last year hit 30 home runs, drove in 108 runs for the Tigers. They hit .313.
Down the line foul.
And for Fielder, he's playing in his 502nd consecutive game. And since 2006, he's missed only 13 games. That's durability.
And a liner. Dozier snags it before it could get into right field. Some well hit balls and the first run of the game for the Tigers. 0-0 Detroit early lead going to Max Scherzer in his search for his 21st win. The Twins will try to answer. Ron Gardenhire hoping to win 2 more games in this season-ending homestand to get to his 1,000th win. And the Twins batting order has Alex Presley in the leadoff spot, Brian Dozier, Trevor Plouffe, Ryan Doman, Josmiel Pinto, Chris Parmalee, Chris Herman, Darren Mastroianni, and Pedro Florimo.
And Max Scherzer making his 32nd start, his 3rd against the Twins, 2-0 so far this year against the Twins. The Tigers are 24-7 when he starts a ball game. As you mentioned, Dick, looking for win number 21 on the year.
He takes outside. Presley threatening the bunt, takes ball 1.
Scherzer has 4 pitches. Fastball, good movement on that fastball. Usually down and away to left-handers. He'll mix in a slider, curveball, and a changeup. And he's a strike thrower.
1-1.
.50 walks for Scherzer and 207 in the 3rd innings pitched, averaging about 2.5 walks per 9.
Wherever you rank the Tigers, whether you think they're the best team in the American League, somewhere in the top 5, wherever you put them, they are where they are because of player acquisition and not player development. They got Cabrera. They pilfered him from the Marlins. Signed Hunter as a free agent. Signed Fielder as a free agent. Got Scherzer when they pirated him away from the Diamondbacks. Sanchez stealing him from the Marlins. Pfister in a lopsided trade from the Mariners. This is not a homegrown developed team, but some very shrewd dealings by Dave Dombrowski, their general manager, has brought as much talent to the Tigers as any place in the American League.
And that's why one reason they're looking for their 3rd straight American League Central Division championship.
Down and away, 2-2. One of the keys for the Twins here tonight, you go into a matchup like this and you think, okay, how can the Twins win? One of the keys, one of the things they'll probably have to do is run up Scherzer's pitch count and get him out of the ball game in the neighborhood of 6 innings like they did Justin Verlander. And there's a changeup for a swinging strikeout, 1 down. Northland 4 defense for the Tigers. Andy Dirks is in left. And Austin Jackson in center. Torii Hunter in right. Cabrera, Santiago, Infante, Fielder, the infielders again. Avila catching again. It might be more important tonight than it was 2 nights ago against Verlander because the Tiger bullpen is in a little bit of state of chaos right now. Al Albuquerque has been used a couple nights in a row. So has Joaquin Benoit. Bruce Rondon, who this is Ron Gardenhire's term, threw the living fire out of the ball last night, but his elbow is barking. And all Jim Leland would say about Rondon is it's not good. Phil Koch sent home for an MRI, fouled by Dozier. So there are some issues in the Tiger bullpen that they hope to have addressed before the imminent playoffs for them begin in about a week.
Well, one thing that you probably know, that Jim Leland knows, I don't think Scherzer, and it would surprise me if he went 9 innings. He's never had a complete game.
1 and 2. But they would appreciate 7 or 8 tonight.
Yeah, they would. Scherzer making his 165th major league start. 72 wins, 45 losses, but no complete games.
1 and 2 to Dozier. And he checked his swing. No swing, and Vila had to scamper after the ball that got away from him in case strike 3 was called. 2 and 2. Verlander was very good against the Twins, but they did have some extended at bats against him and got him out of the ball game after 6 and got into the Tiger bullpen and eventually broke through against them. 2 and 2 to Dozier. Full count with Plouffe on deck.
And if you want to go deep in a ball game as a starter, you want to stay away from the 3-2 counts.
Misfired. Dozier draws a walk. And Plouffe will come to the plate. It took him 5 tries to win his 20th game. And he remains baseball's only 20-game winner. Plouffe, the batter. Just 1 for 10 with 6 strikeouts against Scherzer. Wild outside again, ball 1.
Missing with that slider, and as many sinkers that he throws, you would think he would get a lot of double plays turned behind him, but he's only had 10. See how he has done in his seasons at the major league level.
Part of the reason, though, I would think, is he doesn't walk many people and he doesn't give up many hits. Therefore, there are fewer base runners. Missing wide again. So in the top of this inning, we saw Correia miss consistently up, and in the bottom of the inning, Scherzer's missing wide left.
Yeah, really holding on to that ball just a little bit too long, and that's creating that ball down and away along with the fastball and the slider.
2-0. Hit to right center field. And heading out there is Hunter. Short of where Jackson's drive was. It's out number 2. And that'll bring up Doman.
You know, having the opportunity to talk to Scherzer, too, he says, you know, sometimes you just have to be lucky. And he's had really one of those years. He's had games where we showed you he's had a lot of run supports. He's won a game 17-2. He's won 10. They've been scoring 10 runs for him 4 times this year when he's been on that mound. That helps. His last start against the Chicago White Sox, finally when he won number 20, he beat the White Sox 12-5.
Here's Doman. Hit the 99th home run of his major league career last night. Would like to get a milestone of his own before the season ends. Well, Justin Verlander was talking about just the opposite, how this hasn't been his year. He feels like he's pitched fine. He's, you know, not felt too bad about how he's pitched, even though the wins haven't come this year. 1-0 to Doman. Now backhanded by Avila. It's 2-0.
It just happens that way sometimes. Remember Brad Radke. How many times have Brad pitched well but really didn't have much to show for his great outing?
And that one year where he won 20 and things broke right. His team wasn't very good, but he still won 20 games.
Well, Max Scherzer right now just kind of whipping that ball too far outer half of the plate, and see that shoulder fly open a little bit, the left shoulder, and when that flies open, here comes the arm, and he's kind of a 3/4 type pitcher anyway. Opponents have had a tough time hitting against him this year. Hitting at only .201. Left-handed hitters .224. Right-handers just .169.
That's to the backstop. And Dozier goes to second. Avila went to the mound and tried to correct something with Scherzer, and he hooked it even more.
A wild pitch will be charged to Scherzer. That's his 6th wild pitch of the year.
Here comes Jeff Jones. He may have noticed something, and Scherzer is a little frustrated with his command here in the first inning. Pitches, only 7 strikes for Scherzer. Tying run now at second. It's 3-0 to Doman with Pinto on deck. Ball 4, a pair of walks in the first. And Pinto to the plate with 2 men aboard.
Scherzer, 28 years old, Diamondbacks #1 pick in 2006 out of the University of Missouri. Pinto, of course, has never faced him. Pinto playing in just his 19th game for the Twins this year. Off to a great start. 5 doubles, 3 home runs. He's driven in 10 runs.
Front runner goes, and Dozier gets a steal of third with Scherzer missing up and in, ball 1. A steal of third by Dozier.
And with Scherzer throwing the ball all over the place and throwing some back to the backstop, not a bad decision right there by Dozier. So Dozier gets a stolen base, his 14th of the year.
Tillman staying put. 1-0. Breaking ball high, 2-0. Scherzer's had only 1 start this year with a walk total of more than 3. One game where he walked 4. There's a strike on the outside corner. I think what we've witnessed just in the time Scherzer's been with the Tigers is a thrower becoming a pitcher. When the Tigers got him, he would throw 98, 99 miles per hour. He threw every bit as hard as Justin Verlander. And now instead what we're seeing is a pitcher who usually has better command and less velocity. Swing and a miss. Can still get it though to 94.
Yeah, to me, he's always had a very good follow through. He's one pitcher that will really bend his back and really deliver that ball toward home plate. And that's where that sinker, I think, comes from. He's not a stand-up type pitcher once he releases that ball. His momentum and his back very low to the ground, and his arm just whips through like that.
95. And Scherzer yelling at himself. He survives a wobbly first inning and keeps the Detroit lead intact. For the game, that's the word value, followed by a space, and the player's name, the short code 234 234. Dozier with a nice catch, drew a walk, stole the base, but Kevin Correia gave up a first inning run, and it's 1-0 Detroit. Victor Martinez, Andy Dirks, Omar Infante to hit for Detroit in second. I think I probably, like a lot of baseball fans, I need to reprogram myself. For some reason, When I think of the Tigers, of course, I think of Cabrera and Fielder. And this guy really doesn't scare or concern me, and he should.
Yeah, he should.
He's a great hitter, and he might be every bit the clutch hitter that Miguel Cabrera is. And he's in a lineup with the Tigers where you're just not going to hear much about him because of the other two guys.
Yeah, I mentioned last night, Dick, here's a guy that, missed all of last year. And then he started off slow first couple of months, but since the All-Star break, I mean, he's hitting like 350, if not better. Just a good hitter from both sides of the plate. Surprising power for Martinez.
If the Tigers had won 2 nights ago, who got the biggest hit? Well, maybe Martinez, who drove in a run with a double in last night's game. He didn't homer, but he just gets on base for other guys.
Well, there's the second half right there, hitting 366.
1-1. 1-2.
It's nothing new for Martinez, though. He came into this year a career .303 hitter. This is his 12th season at the major league level. Came up with the Indians, then went to the Red Sox, and now in his 3rd season with the Tigers. But again, you cut out last year when he didn't play at all.
Fly to left. Mastroianni over, and now in a little bit, 1 away. And it might have been better for whoever's in the Tigers' way as they hope to get back to the World Series, including a National League team, if Martinez had played last year, because if he was available to them last year, they would not have gone out to sign Prince Fielder. Martinez retired. Here's Andy Dirks.
Well, it's a lineup that's hitting .285 combined. There's so many guys that complement each other throughout the lineup. They protect each other.
1 strike. Correia with a long look in. And now Dirk's tired of waiting.
This is another guy that's a pretty good hitter. Last year hit .322 for the Tigers in 88 games. He missed about 2 months with right Achilles tendonitis.
Mastroianni will get another one to chase. And makes the cat. No, he doesn't. And runs into the wall. Ball kept slicing away from him, and he got leather on it, but didn't hang on.
We've seen here at nights that the ball just seems to swirl in here. Even Martinez's fly ball just kept drifting on Darren, and right there, that ball. Darren knew he was getting close to the wall right there. Right off the tip of his glove, as he does make contact with that short wall.
Tapped up the right side. It's a fair ball. And Correia at the back, 2 down. Join the fun this weekend at Target Field. It's Fan Appreciation Weekend starting Friday. All fans in attendance will receive a 2014 wall calendar presented by Ford and your Northland Ford dealers. You'll also have a chance to win seat upgrades, autographed baseballs, food and beverage vouchers, and more. The Twins say thank you all weekend long at Target Field. You can call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to get your tickets for Fan Appreciation Weekend. Omar Infante with 2 gone in the 2nd. This is a ballpark where because of the vertical nature of the ballpark, the wind does tend to swirl around here, and you can have what I think we've had here tonight, a ball carry farther than expected to right center, and a ball get pushed away toward foul territory from the left fielder. And you can tell just by looking at the flags. You can see above the left field grandstand the flags there blowing from left field towards foul territory. And depending on when you look, the flags in right field are blowing out. 1-2.
On the positive side for Kevin Correia, he has pitched better here at Target Field than on the road. Pelfrey has struggled here, 2 and 6 or 3 and 6. And Aponte again.
Dozier can't get it. He's wearing out the grass in the short right field in this series.
That's the third night in a row that Aponte, in his first at bat, has flared one into right field. Right off the end of the bat, Dozier almost caught up to it, just came up a bit short. Third hit for the Tigers. Well, last night, Scott Diamond 2 and 8 here at Target Field. You know, Pelfrey 3 and 6. Well, Kevin Correia, he's 5 and 4, and he's given up 2 runs less here at Target Field than he has on the road. And that's a positive.
Down and away, ball 1. Nick Swisher with a 2-run home run. And the Indians, who have now beaten the White Sox 13 times in a row, never more dramatically than the one last night, trying to make it 14 in a row, and force the Tigers to win here tonight if they're going to celebrate in Minnesota. 1-0 to Avila, swing and a miss.
You know, Dick, as a player, I'm sure the Tigers are watching the scoreboard, but they know they're going to win the division. It's just a matter of when. And you can't control what Cleveland and Chicago are doing. All you can control is what they're trying to do here tonight. That's win a ball game.
But as a player, don't you want that moment? If you're the first baseman, don't you want to catch the final out and celebrate? Or if you're, you know, whoever's on the mound for the Tigers, get that last out in the 9th inning or whatever inning it might be, and win it on the field?
Definitely. That's, you know, you dream about that moment. Whether it's to get into postseason, whether it's to advance in postseason, or to win the World Series.
Now, I know you're quite proud of the 2 World Championships you won, but you weren't on the mound for that moment. You were when the Pirates beat the Reds to get into the World Series, and that's got to rank right up there with winning the World Championships itself.
Struck out Geronimo for the final out, and we jumped up and down and had a great time. And didn't care who we played. We're going to the World Series.
Dozier to Parmalee, a good second inning for Kevin Correia. It's 1-0 Detroit.
Twins going into the bottom of the second. Well, every baseball player is dealing with some aches and pains this late in the season, but Miguel Cabrera is really fighting to play through the pain this week as he deals with a nagging groin injury. Jim Leland would love to give him a day off, but Cabrera just does not want to be out of the lineup. He tells me we have a division to win, and I'm not going to take a day off at least until we clinch, and then maybe not even then. He admits he is not anywhere close to 100%. We've seen him wince, running the bases, going to his left out at third base, but he can still swing a mighty bat and help this team, healthy or not, guys.
Thank you very much, Jamie. It'll be Chris Parmelee leading off the second inning for the Twins inside a ball. Now the Tigers do have an off day tomorrow in Miami. If they're celebrating here in Minneapolis, that might come in handy for them. Parmelee with a swing and a foul, and then what Jim Leland does, of course, we'll have to wait and see. But if he is interested in giving Cabrera some time off, you could understand why he might give him Friday off and give him back-to-back days, then 2 days worth of games, and then everybody has to sit idle for a few days if the Tigers are the division champs to wait for the wild card game to be played.
Yeah, and if they do celebrate here tonight, it will be a non-alcoholic celebration because of the past of Cabrera. So he's hoping to pop the cork, but we'll do it the right way.
You know, I guess that's when I realized the potential for this man's greatness. We remember game 163, and right before game 163, Cabrera ran afoul of the law, and the fans in Minnesota at the Metrodome were pretty vocal about that. Dave Dombrowski had to retrieve Cabrera in the middle of the night, and fans were on Cabrera, and he just absolutely mashed the ball during game 163. And to have that kind of focus and that kind of ability, you couldn't help but think, look, if he straightens his life around, there's no telling what he can do, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yep. And you have to give credit to him by saying no.
Yeah. Parmelee strikes out, one down. Third strikeout.
Strikeout number 3 for Scherzer. Well, Scherzer now with 233 strikeouts. He's not going to catch Yu Darvish, who leads the American League in strikeouts, but he can strike out a lot of batters.
Coors Light cold hard fact: Scherzer and Verlander are the first pitchers for Detroit since 1973 to do what they've done.
Yeah, Mickey Lolich and Joe Coleman. You know, Anibal Sanchez too. He's got 194 strikeouts. He probably has one more start. He doesn't have the innings, but they could have 3 guys on that list.
1973 season, Lolich led the Tigers with 308 2/3 innings pitched. Put him on a pitch count that year because 2 years before he threw 376 innings.
Yeah. There's a horse.
Check swing. No, says Brian O'Nora. Pitch count was 150, but he still had a pitch count.
I'll tell you what, I grew up watching him and competed against him. He was fun to watch. He would just throw that slider in 3 different spots and have a quick out strikeout.
Change up.
Speaking of strikeout, another strikeout for Scherzer.
2 down here in the second.
He's doing what Verlander did here the other night. When Verlander struck out 12 in 6 innings. This is a changeup right there. Throws it just like the fastball, and you see the delivery, the follow through, the bending of the back. Really gets that arm whipped through the strike zone.
Darren Mastroianni will hit, or try to. It's not easy when you get Verlander, Pfister, and now Scherzer. And they're missing Sanchez. 2 quick strikes.
Well, they had trouble throwing strikes in the first inning, but not this inning. So he's regrouping, making the adjustment.
That's a pretty good inning right there. 96 miles per hour. Buzzing a fastball at the knees. He struck out the side in the second. Jackson led to a Tiger run. That's been it. Twins don't have any hits yet. They do have 5 strikeouts against Max Scherzer. Kevin Correia will face Ramon Santiago, Austin Jackson, and Torii Hunter. Up and in, strike 1.
Santiago, a switch hitter, is a left-handed hitter, hitting .236.
Drive to center. And Santiago looked at one fastball under his chin, and it's the next pitch to center for a single.
Jose Iglesias still out with that sore left hand, and Santiago getting some playing time.
Iglesias swinging a bat today, and I think long term the Tigers are just trying to incrementally get him a little bit better every day so he's ready to go. They're saying now that Johnny Peralta, whose suspension ends today, is going to join the team and be activated Friday in Miami, but as a left fielder. Down and away, ball 1. And you've, of course, across baseball, you had all these suspensions, and at least one big one appealed, the Alex Rodriguez one. And the Rangers might be left with no choice but to cross their fingers and bring Nelson Cruz back too, even though they went and made a reactive move getting Alex Rios to play right field for them. The Rangers have struggled to score runs because Cruz hasn't been in the middle of their lineup, and now they're threatening to be on the outside looking in. Wild card race. 2-0 to Jackson.
Correa's been able to get 24 double plays. Jackson has hit into 10 of them.
3-0.
Tried the breaking ball right there and missed. Down.
Leadoff single, and now him in trouble if Jackson gets aboard here as well. Down the middle of strike. It's just interesting because when the suspensions were started, and we're talking 50 games ago, some people with the Tigers, some people with the Rangers said, well, we're just going to move on. We're going to move on without Peralta and without Cruz. And now here both teams can see the value of bringing a bat back into the lineup. Line to Plouffe, and he caught a rocket for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Hunter, who's already picked up 7 hits in the series.
About 3 of those hits have been up the middle. He beat out that one, a couple doubles here a couple nights ago. In last night's ball game, Torii Hunter, all 3 singles.
Hunter drove in the first run of the game, the only run so far with a first inning single. Whoa! Pinto called a pitch out, and Correia almost threw a strike.
Yeah, a little cross up right there. They thought that Santiago might be taking off. Pinto going out, and like a little cutter that Pinto just knocked down.
Culbreth did the smart thing. He got the heck out of the way. Tom Bernansky and Ron Gardenhire are giving him some grief about how are you going to call a good strike zone when you're bailing like that.
Where's the pitch?
He was heading to the Tiger dugout, and I don't blame him. Catcher's head to the left-handed batter's box.
He was exposed.
Strike 1-1. There are many reasons if you will want to switch allegiances from the Twins to any team in the playoffs. That's every baseball fan's prerogative, and most people do that. There are plenty of reasons to pull for the Tigers, and the guy in the batter's box is one of them, at least in under my roof.
I agree.
He continues to represent the Twins organization well, even though he hasn't played for them for 6 years.
Well, even last night in his interview with Jamie after the game, he said, "My heart is still in Minnesota." He was a Twins #1 pick back in 1993. For 11 seasons, wore that Twins uniform with a lot of pride.
1-2.
And still today, he gives Kirby Puckett a lot of credit.
You know, Hunter's career is one that bears a second look, particularly the early years. He did not jump into the lineup and stay there and become an impact player right away. It took him a long time, 4 years of going back and forth. Double play grounder. Florimon will go to the bag and do it himself. And Correia faces just 3 men in the third.
By pushing in with my thumb. So I learned how to pronate my wrist at release point by pushing in with my thumb. And as I got better at that, I was able to just naturally kind of do it. I can really just feel it kind of come off that this ring finger, and I can just feel it being pulled down, and I can feel my index finger come down the ball.
You know, I really enjoy doing those type of interviews because every time I talk to somebody about their breaking ball or how they hold their fastball, they're all different.
Yeah.
All completely different.
Florimon bluffs a bunt. Cabrera in at third, coming in further with the bluff.
And that changeup, such a important pitch for Scherzer, but we just saw him strike out Mastroianni on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the last inning.
Florimon lifts it foul over by the tarp. No play.
And I asked him that, you know, how important is your fastball? He said, that's my key. That's the key. Everything works off the fastball.
That must have warmed your heart to hear him say that.
I asked him about leg strength too, and he said that's the drive off of the pitching rubber, very important. And he said one thing he found early on, he was pitching more off the heel of his foot rather than the toe. So you really you see the toe off that pitching rubber.
This to left, Turks creeps in, makes the catch, one away. We'll bring up Presley. You can get interactive with us during the broadcast, participating in the AT&T Twitter poll. We're asking you who will win the Cy Young Award. Bartolo Colon, Yu Darvish, Chris Sale, Max Scherzer. It would be hard for me to vote for Sale, as good as he's been. He's got a losing record. He's a contending ball club. But you have the freedom to vote for whoever you want. This is America.
Remember Zach Greinke, remember Felix Hernandez. They won Cy Youngs with not winning ball clubs. Take a look at Scherzer's delivery right there, and you see the heel come up a little bit, and it's right there when he delivers toward home plate. A little extra push, and he likes working off that third base part of the pitching rubber. That's something we talked about too. See so many pitchers pitching off the first side. He said, I like that side because it's very deceptive to me, and that is why I have such good success against right-handed hitters, because he gives you that three-quarter type delivery. Again, right-handers hitting only 169 against him this year. Left-handers 224. 11 home runs allowed to lefties, 7 to right-handed hitters.
2-1. And a pop up behind second. Jackson coming in. And it's the shortstop Santiago with the catch, out number 2. We'll bring up Dozier. Nightly on Fox Sports Live. Join Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. 2 down in the third. Dozier will hit. He walked, went to second on a wild pitch and stole third and was left there. Twins don't have a hit yet. Swing and a miss.
I guess Scherzer would be the same as what Chris Sale would be as a left-handed hitter to left-handed batters because of the sidearm three-quarter type delivery. See right there. I mean, he's coming, you know, even though he's standing on that pitching rubber, which is even with home plate, he's coming at that angle a little bit at shortstop.
Dozier got a piece of it, fouling it over near the on-deck circle, and Trevor Plouffe. Houston's taking a 3-1 lead on the Rangers in the top of the 4th inning. Rangers starting the day a game behind the Indians in the wild card race. Dozier flips it foul. Not particularly a good day to be a contending team. Mets beat the Reds 1-0. Daisuke Matsuzaka beat the Reds.
Oh, and 7 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. He's back.
What's more surprising, that he beat the Reds or that the game is over with already?
And he went inside that time and picked up his 6th strikeout.
6 strikeouts over 3 shutout innings. It's 1-0 Detroit. All on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here.
And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. A first inning run for the Tigers. That's where we're at. Miguel Cabrera leading off the fourth against Kevin Correia. On the ground, hit right at Dozier. And a quick first out. Tigers have to be concerned because Cabrera isn't right. He's not going to be right. And so much of what you want to get done in October depends on the health of your big shooters. And this guy's hurt.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. He can hit, but you know what? I mean, every time he takes a quick step, that groin injury bothers him.
One down. Here's Fielder. Fielder lined out to Dozier his first time up, and he takes up on away ball one.
You know, Tigers got the taste of almost winning a World Series last year, that they just ran into a very good Giant ball club. San Francisco Giants beat the Tigers in 4 games in the World Series last year.
On the left field line. And a long run, but this one back into the seats where Mastroianni just missed a catch an inning or so ago.
$50 pitches for Correia, 32 strikes.
Fouled back. 1-2.
You know, we were talking about run support. You said Verlander, even Kevin Correia. We showed you the numbers earlier. Last 8 starts, 2-4, but an ERA at 2.94. So not a lot of run support for Correia either. And trying to win that 10th game. Pitch out of the strike zone, but Fielder a strikeout victim for Correia, his first.
Pretty good changeup by Correia with 2 strikes. He got Fielder to chase, 2 down. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. Breaking ball.
I think it's a breaking ball, yeah. Pito wanted it down and in, and it ended up down and away, and Fielder swung through it.
Victor Martinez, the batter, a fly ball to left, his first time up. If the Indians in fact make it to the playoffs, and they are leading Chicago 4-2, bottom of the 6th, they're in the wild card driver's seat right now. Now the fans are starting to come back in the final stages of this season, although they are not selling out these critical games with the White Sox. But in a sense, they're responding to a really good season managed by Terry Francona, and forgetting about that dreadful period when the Indians traded Martinez and Cliff Lee and CC Sabathia in a short period of time. And they say in Cleveland, some fans simply haven't forgotten all the talent that was dealt away from the Cleveland team. There's a high fly down the right field line toward the pole and over the pole, but foul. 1-2.
Well, hopefully we'll bring some of those fans back as a young lady retrieves the ball. Is winning. Always cures a lot of bad habits. When you can put a winning product on the field, the ball just foul.
But they've had that all year long. I mean, the Indians have been right there. They haven't been able to beat the Tigers, but other than that, they've actually put together a better record than Detroit, other than the head-to-head meetings. 1-2 to Victor Martinez. Bouncer to short, dug out by Florimone. Over to Parmelee. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Correia.
Fox Sports North is presented by McDonald's. Catch a filet of fish extra value meal today. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. 1-0 Tigers. Twins hitting in the fourth, looking for their first hit. The 3, 4, and 5 batters, Booth, Doman, and Pinto, to face Max Scherzer. Bends one over for strike one. Blue put the ball in play, one of the few outs recorded on a ball put in play. Breaking ball over, mid-70s, now 93 on the outside corner.
All 3 outs recorded off the bat have been fly ball outs, along with the 6 strikeouts.
And Bluth gone on 3 pitches.
Strikeout number 7. 7 times this year, Scherzer has struck out 10 or more in a game. He already has 7 here with 1 out in the 4th.
He walked Ryan Doman in the first inning. He walked 2 batters in the first, haven't given the Twins a base runner since. Strike on the outside corner. Remember early on he was struggling with his strike percentage. Now 52 pitches, 34 strikes.
He needed 24 pitches in the first and then 25 in the second and third total. So he found that groove. Whatever he did, he made the adjustment from being a little erratic in the first inning.
And he's getting a lot of swings and misses. 1 and 2.
And you can see he's right back on that pitching rubber again, too. Quick, good pace.
A piece of the off-speed pitch. As the Twins move forward, that's something they're looking for. Pitchers that have swing and miss ability, if that's a phrase or a word. Which have had some success, frankly, in winning division championships with pitchers who pitch to contact. There's a ball lifted foul over by the tarp. And no play for Dirks. But what happens is, and Scott Diamond's an example of it, unless the ball's put in play and you get a quick out, there are a lot of foul balls and the pitch count gets run up and your bullpen is brought in too many times in the 6th inning rather than the 7th inning.
Yeah, today's age of pitch counts.
1 and 2 to Doman. Sharply hit, backhanded by Infante. 2 down. Well, sharply hit, but Doman at least got the barrel of the bat on it. 2 away.
Yeah, first ground ball out.
Pepsi fans of the game enjoying a night at the ballpark. A little face painting. A little sparring between sisters. Two down, and here's Pinto, struck out with 2 men aboard in the first. Outside ball 1.
Scherzer started this year's first 18 starts. 13-0, 3.06 ERA.
2-0.
Making his 12th career start against the Twins. He's 5-2 with a 4.87 earned run average.
3-0.
And here at Target Field, he's 3-1 with a 4.13 ERA in 6 starts.
Parmalee will hit next. Ball 4. Pinto looked like he got the green light there. He ready to take a hack at it if it was over the plate. A 2-out walk putting Pinto aboard. That'll bring up Parmalee. Twins want you and your family to be part of this year's Fan Appreciation Weekend. Join us at Target Field Sunday. Every child 14 and younger will receive a 2013 Twins team poster presented by New Era. Kids and adults alike will also have the chance to win some great prizes like seat upgrades and food vouchers. Join the Twins as they say thank you to each and every fan this weekend at Fan Appreciation Weekend. 800-33-TWINS or twinsbaseball.com for tickets. Parmalee squirts it off the end of the bat. Scherzer recovers, and he'll have no play. And the first hit for the Twins hit right off the end of the bat by Chris Parmalee.
Yeah, Cabrera had no chance of coming in and fielding this ball. It was Scherzer that ran over to get it. And probably a good decision because this ball took a long time. Look at the spin on that ball. Scherzer reacting to it. And right here, got it, and then thought twice about throwing that ball maybe away to first base.
Not nearly as much foul territory here as in Oakland, but still not a good idea to throw wildly to first. Too early to think about a no-hitter, isn't it?
Yes.
Disappointed that he made a good pitch and completely fooled Parmalee, but gave up a base hit. Here's Herman. As I walked into the Twins clubhouse today around 3:30, Oswaldo Arcia was walking out. He was on his way to have an MRI taken of his right knee. Ran into the wall 2 days ago, hasn't played. Just a precautionary MRI. Inside 1-1. Twins hoping for a hit to the outfield to get the game tied. 1-1 to Herman. And a swing and a miss.
A 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Thought he might have had the corner. 96 miles per hour, and he just missed.
Kind of humped up on that. I thought I heard him groan from here.
And plenty of the plate.
Yes, it did. Good pitch.
2-2 to Herman. Pop up behind third. Cabrera puts it away. Twins get a 2-out walk and an infield hit. It's still 1-0 after 4.
inning. I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery winner's circle with a pair of newlyweds, Arnie and Carol. And Arnie is 88 years old, but you just got married in May. You said you'd had your eye on Carol for a while.
For a long time, yeah. I thought she was too young for me.
Well, clearly you are very young as well, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
What was your first date like, Carol?
We went to the Olive Garden and he was late. He couldn't find my house.
Well, you stuck by him, and hey, here you guys are married happily. Finally, he says, okay, we're going to give you $100 worth of scratch-offs from the Minnesota Lottery, so enjoy.
Thank you so much. I can't believe this.
A long and happy marriage to you both.
Thank you very much.
Dick and Bert.
You are here by circle. Congratulations to the young couple.
Nubbed foul. It's 1-1 to the leadoff man here in the fifth, Andy Dirks. Dirks, Infante, and Avila in the fifth for Detroit.
Well, Correia doing his part after giving up a run in the first inning, putting zeros on the board. Keep your club in the game.
Strike call. Boston leading Colorado 3-1 in the second inning, and we mentioned it only because the Colorado run was scored on Todd Helton's home run. He's playing in his last game at Coors Field, and he's been getting one ovation after another, and a thunderous ovation after his solo home run. There's a pop-up near second base. Florimone coming in. One down. Set your compass due north on Thursday nights at Fox Sports North. Join host Bill Shirk and Laura Scherzer as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts all over the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors Thursday at 6 on Fox Sports North. And maybe Helton would want to go out the way Ted Williams did, who homered in his last at bat.
Yeah, he might. Well, how about Michael Kadire?
Might win a National League batting title.
Yep.
And Dante Bichette, his hitting coach, isn't coming back next year. For unexplained reasons, he's just not coming back. Here's Omar Infante. Houston's lead over Texas didn't last very long. It was 3-1 Houston. Now it's 6-3 Texas.
MRI back from RC is where he went this afternoon. No structural damage. Listed as we all are.
Day to day. Well, the hope would be that Arcia, who reported his knee, felt better today. The improvement continues. Here comes Bert, right at you, right at you. Right at Corey Provis, the Twins radio play-by-play guy, and he showed no movement at all. That was
Dan Gladden gave him the ball.
The man never got up from his seat.
That's what he did in Chicago. Said he caught the ball. Remember when Chris Atterbury knocked that ball down?
You know, the fielding percentage in the Twins radio booth is very poor this year. Gladden's had 2 hit off his wrist. Chris Atterbury muffed one, and that thing hit the base of Provis's microphone.
I think I hit the monitor too. That's a dangerous part about a ball coming up here. We got some nice TVs up here.
2-2.
Taking some of these home after the season.
There's a pop-up near the mound, and Plouffe will call for it. He's got it. That's out number 2. Correia settled down. He made it. Remember in the first inning getting pitches up, and he got the one up to Jackson, and Jackson got one airborne to the wall in right center, and that's really the only damaging pitch that he's thrown. Avila, the batter. Inside and off of Pinto's glove to the backstop.
Correia with 66 pitches, 43 strikes.
No walks, 1 strikeout. Giving up 4 hits, but the first 2 batters got hits. A triple and the RBI single by Torii Hunter.
And a strike call, 1-1. I still can't believe Gladden didn't take care of his partner over there. He's got a glove on his left hand. All he would have had to have done is go 1 step over to his left and catch the ball.
Glad he's saying he was looking at the monitor, his monitor, while the ball came back this way.
All right, well, now, I hope that a ball comes back to the TV booth and you and I will show some concern for one another and the ability to catch an airborne baseball.
Tell you what, with all these monitors here, it's going to be tough. I have not had a ball back here. I don't know if a ball has come in.
I think over in our stats position earlier this year. Ground ball through the hole to right, a 2-out single for Avila. And that'll bring up Santiago.
5th hit for the Tigers. It comes out comes with 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Santiago singled his first time up. Five hits for the Tigers. Their first and second place hitter getting hits in the first inning to score a run. And now hitters 7, 8, and 9 each have a hit. Inside, ball 1.
That's where Correia pitched him in his last at bat, and then on the next pitch, Santiago hit that base hit up to center field for the base hit. Santiago, this is his 12th season at the major league level. Came up with the Tigers in 2002, and then went to Seattle for a couple years, and then came back to Detroit again. Good utility player. From Puerto Rico, 34 years old.
And a strike called, 1-1.
Eight ground ball out so far for Correia.
The Twins so far doing what Ron Gardenhire said they need to do in a game like this. How do you beat Matt Scherzer and the Tigers? Keep it close and try to do essentially what they did here Monday night. Keep it close.
Hopefully get some big hits late on.
Against the Tiger bullpen, which is a little depleted right now. Roller right side. Parmalee has it. He'll flip to second. That ends the 5th inning. 5 pretty good innings for Kevin Correia. If the Twins are down 1-0. 1-0 Tigers. Max Scherzer muttering to himself out there. He's pitched awfully well here tonight. Trying to pick up his 21st win of the year. He'll face Darren Mastroianni, Pedro Florimon, and Alex Presley. And here's my wish list. Somebody bunts in front of Cabrera. You got 3 guys here who can bunt, who can run. Having a tough time making contact against Scherzer. And a strike taken with a bluff bunt.
Yeah, and that's what Mastroianni, I think, was going to try to do. Now, Fielder did not move at first at all. Cabrera came hustling in. It was playing about even with the bag, maybe on the grass.
2 strikes. 7 strikeouts for Scherzer through 4 innings. One and 2. 71 pitches for Scherzer as he starts the 5th inning, and if the Twins can run it up to 100 or so after 6, Jim Leyland may go to the bullpen. Here's a ball flip foul, although Leyland said when asked, because of the bullpen situation, how far did he want Scherzer to go, and he said at least 9.
Well, the most pitches he's thrown in a ball game, 122. And that came against the Texas Rangers when he lost his first game.
But you can imagine, too, the Tigers not wanting to burn Scherzer to full capacity in his last start before the postseason. 2-2. But then you allow perhaps for the factor that Scherzer won't pitch again until maybe a week from today. There'll be a couple of extra days built in before game 1 of the playoffs for the Tigers.
Yeah, you know what? He's one of these guys like a Verlander. They have a very nice delivery. They really release the ball out front and then have a pretty good follow through. So not a lot of recoil. Actually, he's one I mentioned before that will bend his back and come over that left leg and then go toward first base.
Tapper foul.
And these at-bats from Mastroianni right here help out.
You know, all the things you talk about, I just happened to listen to an interview today from Chris Archer, the very good young pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. And, he was asked about the Tampa Bay shoulder strengthening program that all the Rays pitchers go through. This one fouled back again. He explained it in a way, different way than you do, but I think the same principle applies. To allow your arm to decelerate after you release the ball. If you don't do it properly, you put an awful lot of pressure on your shoulder and your back, and that's when injury problems come up.
Yeah, and you have to bend your back, and Scherzer does a good job of that.
Swing and a miss, a fastball, put him away.
Strikeout number 8. Well, Max Scherzer, having a Cy Young type year, has 4 different pitches. That's the fastball. That's the release from the fastball. And keep your eye on where that ball comes out of his hand, all in the same spot. There's the changeup. And we'll go to the curveball, something that he just picked up. Good tight rotation. He throws to left-handers, he said. And there's the slider.
In the freeze frame moment there, you could see that red dot that hitters talk about. Remember Torii Hunter, when he first came up with the Twins, he went back to the Twins dugout and he said, "What is that thing with a red dot?" And someone in the Twins bench said, "Well, Torii, that's a slider." Hadn't seen one quite like that in the minor leagues before. 1-1 to Florimon. 2-1. Florimon put it in play, sending a fly ball to left.
Now, when Scherzer releases that ball and he gets out front, he almost has a little hop at the end.
Sharply hit, and under the glove of Infante. Should be a hit for Florimon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that ball was hit very sharply. And I didn't see the hop because Scherzer saw where that ball was as far as location. Trying to get out of the way. That ball almost went right back up the middle. And they do give him a base hit. So the second hit for the Twins.
And now Presley. Indians leading the White Sox 5-2, bottom of the 7th. After they play tonight, they will head to Minnesota. Open up a 4-game series tomorrow. Speaking of the Indians. And Avila, just a dive to keep that ball from going to the backstop.
Nice reaction by Avila. Watch, he wants that ball out over the plate, and it goes down and in. Very nice reaction.
Misfiring again. He walked the second batter he faced in the first inning, and then his control was off and struggled to get through the first. He had a 1-2-3 second, 1-2-3 third. Retired the first 2 guys in the 4th, then issued a walk and a single. And now a 1-out single in the 5th. And his command doesn't seem to be from the stretch what it was from the windup. There goes Florimo. Avila's throw not in time. Swipe of second base. And it's 3-0 to Presley.
A second stolen base for the Twins against Scherzer here tonight. Dozier stole third in the first inning. And Florimo steals his 15th base of the year. Ball down and in. Avila's throw. A little late in Florimo and his speed. So Florimo grab that bag and hold on tightly.
3-0 to Presley, who will likely be taking here with Dozier on deck. The walk, first and second, one away. If you're looking for something extra special to take home from Target Field, check out the kiosk at the ballpark that has a vast array of game-used merchandise, bats, balls, jerseys, all items used in a game at Target Field. And you can check it out between gates 29 and 34 out in right field. Get tickets for Twins baseball in the final homestand of the year. Important games for the Indians. All 833 Twins, or visit twinsbaseball.com. And by extension, the games played here will be very important for the Texas Rangers.
Jeff Jones, a pitching coach, out to talk to Scherzer again. Second visit for Jones.
Here's where the Twins need their best hitter. Brian Dozier's been that. Their best hitter to have his best at bat of the night. Chance to do some damage here with runners at first and second and 1 out.
Dozier a walk and a strikeout.
Off the outside corner, ball 1. Dozier with the 9th inning home run against Joaquin Benoit that sent us into extra innings and an eventual Twins win Monday night.
Not missing by much. As a Twins pitcher, I would have said that's on the black.
1-0. There is no black. Remind me at some point to tell you about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy too.
Were they together?
1-0.
You know, I'm going to have to take you down and actually show you the black that's on the side.
But it has nothing to do with the strike zone.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't have anything to do with the strike zone.
If you have the right
That's why they
umpire.
paint it white.
If you have the right umpire, that means a lot.
2-0 to Dozier.
That black can sometimes be about 6 inches. If you have the right umpire.
And a little bit of a delay call by Field and Colbert, but he calls it a strike. 2-1. Tying run at second. Go ahead run at first. Twins have some speed on the bases.
Should get a good pitch to hit here for Brian Dozier. See what he can do with it.
We're in the first inning. Dozier was at second, and Doman was at first with 2 outs, and Dozier felt neglected, so he stole third. Scherzer wants to make sure that doesn't happen here with 1 out. Again.
Well, the time before he kind of looked at him and then turned and spun around. That time he looked right at home and then spun around. See if he picks up Florimo.
Low, and it's 3-1. Blue on deck.
Good take by Dozier right there. 5 3-ball counts for Scherzer so far this ball game.
You forget getting Scherzer through the 6th inning with 100 pitches. He's getting close to 90 in the 5th, right at the knees. 3-1 to Brian Dozier. And that one called at the knees. 3-2.
Pretty good speed on the bases.
Was covered up, pitch 4 with that pitch.
Florimo at second, Presley at first.
Full count to Dozier with 1 away. Runners go. Dozier swings through it, and Florimo is thrown out at third. Strike him out, throw him out. The Twins come up empty in the 5th. First inning. Coors Light freeze cam. Brian Dozier's nice pickoff back in the first inning.
And coming out the bat of Prince Fielder to end the first inning.
On to the 6th, and Austin Jackson will lead things off against Kevin Correia. Correia in his first inning left a lot of pitches up. Jackson lifted one toward the gap in right center field. It one-hopped the fence for a leadoff triple. He scored on a ground ball single by Hunter. That is it so far in terms of scoring.
9 ground ball outs for Correia.
Breaking ball missing high, 2-0. Mentioned it hasn't been the best day for contending teams. Oakland and Anaheim was shut down by Jared Weaver. Angels won that ball game 3-1. A costly loss for Oakland. It's a strike as they hope to catch and pass the Red Sox for overall home field advantage. Red Sox leading the Rockies 4-2. Baltimore eliminated. They're leading Toronto tonight, but it doesn't matter anymore. 6-3, Texas leading Houston. Yankees flickering playoff hopes being extinguished by the Rays, 7-2 in the 8th inning. 3-1, Correia to Jackson to start the 6th inning.
Yeah, Tampa Bay has just owned the Yankees.
Hey! 3-2.
No walks for Correia, 1 strikeout. Shaking off Pinto.
The handle of the bat foul. Correia's won 10 games, at least 10 in every big league season since 2009. Again, some shakeoffs. Now everybody on the same page. 3-2. Again inside and a foul back. Talked to Samuel Deduno, another candidate to start next year. He had his shoulder surgery the other day. Asked him yesterday how it went. Fine. He's going to go to the Dominican Republic briefly, but he's going to rehab in Fort Myers, which will allow him to stay under the supervision of the Twins medical staff down there, Lanning Tucker and whoever else might be down there. The ball hit to center, and Presley with the catch, 1-0. Twins had a threat in the bottom of the 5th, but a strike him out, throw him out, took care of that.
Well, he had good speed on the bases, and what Scherzer did, he threw a breaking ball, and then Avila's throw very quickly to Cabrera for the tag of Florimo. Scherzer likes it, as Avila does.
One down on the 6th, Torii Hunter drove in the run with a first inning single, bounced into a double play in the 3rd. Twins starting rotation thin to begin with, but then along the way they lost Samuel Deduno. They've shut down Mike Pelfrey. Twins right now in the 4 games against Cleveland. Chopper up the line, and Plouffe lets it hit the bag. Plouffe let it go, thinking he might not have a chance to get Hunter and that the ball would go foul. And it looked like it hit the corner of the base right in front of Brian O'Nora.
Yeah, sure did. And Plouffe did the right thing, trying to see if that ball would go foul. Another swinging bunt. And you can see that ball just kind of ricochet off the bag. And you're thinking right there, that ball's going to go foul, but hits the corner of the bag. Wow. So Torii picks up his 2nd hit, his 8th hit in this 3-game series against the Twins.
And Cabrera will come to the plate with a man aboard. Inside, ball 1. The 4 starters for the Twins will be Andrew Albers, Pedro Hernandez, Cole DeVries, and then the Twins are going to bring back Scott Diamond to pitch the season finale on Sunday.
Now remember, Saturday that game has been moved up to 12:05 rather than the 3:05 on your schedule. Big Fox picking it up, and you're going to be in the booth, Dick?
Yes, I'll be working with Eric Karras in that game on Saturday. One and one to Cabrera. Popped up. Parmalee in front of his dugout. That's catch out number 2. Might only have one at bat left against the Twins this year. I'll say what I said before. The Twins have really pitched Cabrera well. He's hitting below 200 now against the Twins with 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in.
He picked up a couple hits here on Monday night, but then took an 0 for last night and 0 for so far here today.
Now Fielder. You were on some championship teams, and you were on a lot of teams that struggled to finish the season like this Twins team. How important was your last start of a lost season, just in terms of getting you in the right frame of mind for the next season?
Well, I mean, it was important, but I looked at my last start as I did my first start in the year. So, or my 10th start of the year. You want to finish strong, but you already know going into that last start what you have to do this winter to get better. So,
Correa's case, he's coming up with a really good start here in what's going to be his final start of the season. And if the Tigers win the Central Division, he'll have 3 pretty good starts against a team he presumably will face regularly again next year. Two and 0 to Fielder with Hunter at first. Foul back, 2-1.
It's frustrating sometimes as a player when you say you're not going to postseason. You go home and you start watching the games on TV, and you say, "Boy, how are we going to get back there? How am I going to get there? What can I do to make our team get back there?" And for a while there, that was a yearly thing. Try to get better.
2-1. 2-2. Well, the Twins bunch in the late 80s, early 90s, they didn't fool around. They won it all in 87, had a competitive team in 88, struggled for a couple of years, got back in the tournament in 1991, ran the table, won the World Series again, had a good team in 92, and then a long drought. Bernansky, a part of the 87 team, of course. 2-2 to Fielder, and now a full count. And for the Tigers, they've gotten to the World Series a couple of times, but they haven't closed the deal. Last year couldn't score any runs against the Giants. Time before, when they went to the World Series, some defensive issues, particularly among their pitchers, really cost them the World Series against the Cardinals. Full count to Fielder. Hunter will take off. Parmalee creeping behind him, not holding him on. Foul back. Cleveland's leading Chicago 7-2. They're in the top of the 8th. So if the Tigers are going to celebrate tonight in Minneapolis, it looks like they'll have to beat the Twins. Jim Leyland won a World Series with the Marlins years ago. Frustrated all those years with the Pirates. Really good team with some great players, but couldn't get out of the playoffs. 3-2. Hunter goes, and the pitch driven to left. Retreating is Mastroianni on the track, makes the catch. 6 really good innings for Kevin Correia tonight, but the Twins trail 1-0.
Welcome back to Target Field. Twins still trying to come back against the Tigers as we head to the bottom of the sixth. Well, Kevin Correia is having another great night for the Minnesota Twins, and we want to know in our Grand Casino Social Spotlight what you think of Kevin Correia's job for Minnesota so far this year in his first season with the Twins. This is, of course, his last start for Minnesota, so what grade do you give him? How do you think he did this season, and why? Use the hashtag MNCorreia, and we will share our favorite tweets in our post-game show. Guys?
All right, thank you.
Well, here tonight, I give Kevin Correia an A. He's kept the club in the ball game, down 1-0, but hopefully the Twins can do something here.
On the ground to Santiago and a quick first out in the sixth. Bring up Ryan Doman.
And that's what Scherzer needs. 92 pitches for Max Scherzer.
Doman with a walk in the first and a ground ball to second in the fourth. Doman again with 99 career home runs. Takes down and in, ball one. Doman's numbers off from a year ago. Josh Willingham's numbers, of course, way down. Willingham held out of the lineup today after a very frustrating night at the plate last night. Twins will give him a little time off, see if he can get some big hits in the Cleveland series. Two 2-0. (3-0). Pinto on deck.
Scherzer's walked 4 already tonight. That ties a season high. 9 strikeouts. Twins have only 2 hits, 2 infield hits.
And Doman taking on 3-0 to 3-1. Takes ball 4. With one out, the Twins get another base runner. That'll bring up Pinto. MLB.com @bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, and Windows Phone 8. @bat delivers Twins baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and more. Text @bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details. A little late in the 2013 season, but something you might want to check out for next season. Here's Pinto, a strikeout and a walk. Fouled away, 1 strike. Strike to Pinto. 10 runs batted in already in his month trial in the big leagues. It's deep down the right field line, but it's in the seats, foul. 2 strikes. Scherzer with 9 strikeouts.
This will be pitch number 100 for Scherzer.
Foul to the screen right over the head of Parma. I talked about it, I think, last night. I'm just so concerned, not just here at Target Field, but on deck hitters in general, how vulnerable they are with Parmalee standing about 30 feet from home plate. You can see how close he is. Now that ball hit right about 5 feet over his head. And he had no time to react had it been 5 feet lower. 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Scherzer gets strikeout number 10. 2 away.
Yep, strikeout number 10. 8th time he has had 10 or more strikeouts in the game. this season. Went to that slider down and away.
And now Parmalee got the first Twins hit it right off the end of the bat, a spinner in the grass toward third base, and Scherzer fielded it but had no play. 2 down. Foul back. Here's my recommendation, since I brought it up last night and again tonight. In the on-deck circle now with a left-handed batter up, Chris Herman is out of harm's way. And they do it in Little League, and I think it's something the big league should adopt. Just have the on-deck hitter behind the hitter in the box, like they do in Little League. There's no way Chris Herman's going to get hit by a foul ball because he's behind the left-handed hitter. But when the right-handed hitter Pinto is up, go ahead and put Parmalee over in the on-deck circle on the other side of the field for safety reasons.
So if, say, a right-handed hitter is up right now,
Herman should be over in front of the Detroit dugout. Smiley and Veras up. 2 strikes to Parmalee. I'm trying to think of the name of the player who was, I think, with the Cardinals at the time, not Edwin Encarnacion, Juan Encarnacion, and he got smoked in the on-deck circle, and that was the end of his career. And it's just a matter of time whether it happens here or most other ballparks. They're just, to me, too close, and it's a very simple fix. You just take Herman where he is now and leave him there, but if a right-handed batter was up, you just put him to the other side of home plate. No harm in it.
No.
You're not going to be at any more of a disadvantage as a hitter and looking at the pitches coming at you. You're just getting them from a different angle, and there's no way Chris Herman is in any way in danger right now. And the fans were concerned about them. The people in the dugouts have screens in front of them, but the on-deck hitter is absolute toast if he gets hit by a line drive. 2-2. Checked his swing. It's 3-2. And Herman will have a chance here, and beyond that, the runner at first, Doman, will be able to leave early. Full count to Parmalee. Twins looking for that big hit against Scherzer. His 107th pitch. Foul back.
Yeah, this is not what Jim Leland wanted out of Scherzer.
Yep.
This pitch count right here, trying to get an out here, the final out.
Full count to Parmalee. Picked up some hits here in September. Get his batting average up into the 230s. Hoping for a big hit here against the 20-game winner. Short center, Jackson coming in, and he'll make the catch. Scherzer completes 6. He may be done for the night. It's a 1-0 ball game here in Minneapolis. the scoring came very early.
Yeah, Austin Jackson started with the triple, then later scored on the Torii Hunter base hit. Twins turn a double play, a couple of them. There's Tori's RBI single scoring Jackson for the one run of the ball game. Max Scherzer has given up only 2 hits, 10 strikeouts in the ball game. 108 pitches thrown, and when he went into the dugout, his conversation with Jim Leland said, "Hey, I've got one more."
108 pitches, and Scherzer wants some more. Kevin Correia is out there to start his 7th inning, facing Victor Martinez.
Correia at 93 pitches.
Strike one. Top of the 9th now in Cleveland. White Sox batting. Cleveland leading 7-2. Don't know if Chris Perez is in there in a non-save situation. Perez was booed off the field after giving up 2 home runs in the 9th, and Justin Masterson, we're told, is trying to finish the ball game. The Indians will use him out of the bullpen, obviously tonight, and through the Twin series here, with the potential of Masterson being stretched out, so he might be able to pitch and start in the playoffs should the Indians get there. He's had an oblique pull and hasn't pitched since early September. 1-1 to Martinez. Off the plate, 2-1. In Denver, Boston leading Colorado 7-4. Oakland has lost. Tampa Bay leading 7-2, bottom of the 8th. Texas leading Houston 7-3, bottom of the 7th.
There we go.
2-1. Correa is still under 100 pitches. Just strike.
Yeah, most pitches Correa's thrown in a ball game. 118 came against the Royals here, when he threw 7 shutout innings against the Royals. No decision in that ball game.
Toward the hole. Florimon knocks it down. He won't have a play. Had he fielded it, Martinez running considerably better than Cabrera these days. It'll be an infield hit leading off the 7th.
Oh, good effort by Florimon right here. And we've seen Florimon's strong arm, and Martinez hustling out of that box, but Florimon just knocking it down. 7th hit for the Tigers. 6 singles and the leadoff triple by Jackson.
And now Dirks.
Martinez's 12-game hitting streak.
Have to allow for the possibility of the bunt here, I would think. Blue creeping in toward the edge of the grass now. Dirks has got some power, but this is a 1-run ball game, and if this were a playoff game, I think Jim Leland would consider Dirks bunting here. Try to get an insurance run into scoring position.
He's looking down at Tom Brookins, the third base coach. Dirks does have 1 sacrifice on the year.
Check swing, 1-1.
Not showing, but
one thing the manager in this situation has the luxury of managing this as if it were a playoff game. He's trying to clinch tonight. Down low. 2-1. And the magic number is still 1. Cleveland Indians beat the Chicago White Sox for the 14th straight time. 7-2 the final. The Indians packing up and heading to Minnesota to open up a series tomorrow.
You know, Chicago does not want to see Cleveland anymore. Not even next year.
2-1 runner goes, and now Dirks or Martinez up to dry, and he is thrown out. He took off.
Little hit and run put on right there, and Dirks swinging through the pitch, and Martinez had no place to go.
2-2 the count.
So they tried the hit and run. And the hit and run only works if that hitter at the plate makes contact.
That first part's important, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very important.
Two and two. And now a full count. Anthony Swarzak, Brian Dunsing warming up. Swarzak, the winning pitcher here 2 nights ago. And a roller to Dozier. 2 down. Some concern about Michael Bourne, as hot as the Indians are right now. Their center fielder and leadoff man, the subject of our Sanford Health injury report. He sprained his right wrist sliding into second base last night. Couldn't swing a bat, was taken out of the ball game last night, presumably was not in their lineup tonight. And he a pinch ran, it says there. So some concern about Bourne, who's had an okay season.
Yeah, but he's that kind of igniter right off the top of that lineup. A good player. His first season with Cleveland. Signed as a free agent.
One strike to Infante.
As Correa's trying to get this final out, maybe the final pitches he will throw here in 2013.
1-1. Hit hard to left. And Mastroianni with a catch. Correia faces just 3 men in the 7th. If it's his last inning, he's come up with a good outing here tonight in his finale.
Slider, but I'm on the other side of the ball, same type of principle, and I'm just coming over it.
Is that something that you picked up in spring training, or when did you pick it up?
No, it was basically last year. I was never really good at backdooring a slider. The only way I could backdoor was all of a sudden try to come around it. Did it a couple times in the bullpen, and Jonesy was like, "That's a curveball." I go, "I know, I got a curveball now."
And that curveball, he told me, he only throws to left-handed hitters. I saw him try it on Parmalee. He missed low, and that made the 3-2 count to Parmalee in his last at-bat. Then Parmalee ended up flying out to Jackson for the final out of the 6th inning. Scherzer still out there.
And he falls behind Herman 2-0. We saw him not so much plead with Jim Leyland, demand from Jim Leyland that he go back out there.
And that's what you want. That's what you want to hear from a starter.
3-0, but now it's up to Scherzer.
You better go out and do it.
3-0 to Herman. Mastroeni, Florimone will follow.
You can beg all you want, but if you don't go out and perform, then he's going to come and get you.
And a strike, 3-1. It's a great World Series story. Jack Morris talking himself in to the 10th inning in Game 7 of the World Series, but if he gave up a 3-run home run, that wouldn't have been such a good story.
That's a great story.
Leadoff walk to Herman, and the Twins, who've taken a lot of walks from Scherzer, for the first time in the ball game, get their leadoff man on here in the 7th. Now, if you're Jim Leyland, what do? You look at the lineup. You give him one more batter who might be bunting here.
Yeah, 6 walks for Scherzer in this ball game. A career high 7 walks came last year against the Yankees.
Mastroeni struck out twice. So much for the element of surprise. A bunt, foul, 1 strike. Now, Mastroeni, who's been hurt this year, hasn't hit well when given an opportunity, and has struck out here twice tonight, needs to execute.
Yeah, he needs to get the barrel of the bat out front right there. He kind of let that ball come to him rather than go get that ball with the barrel of the bat. Lay it down. Mastroeni getting out there quickly, showing that he's going to bunt.
Keeps it in the grass. Fielder with the tag. Mastroeni almost knocked it out of the glove. It's a successful sacrifice. Herman to second, 1 away, and now Florimone will bat. With Ron Gardenhire closing in on his 1,000th career victory. Number 999 might be tonight. FoxSportsNorth.com's Tyler Mason talked to Torii Hunter, Glenn Perkins, and others about the Twins manager's legacy. You want to talk about that until someone retires or otherwise leaves the organization. That's my hope that doesn't happen. I think he's got another 1,000 wins ahead of him if he wants to manage that long. Here's Florimone.
Let's hope so.
Pitch is up, ball 1. Florimone singled his last time up. Twins have just the 2 hits. Florimone's hit deflected off the glove of Infante. Punch to left. Easy catch for Dirks. 2 away. 2 hits, and neither has gotten to the outfield. Parmalee's spinning ground ball in the grass in the 4th inning, an infield hit. And while Florimone's hot ground ball deflected off the glove of Infante, he retrieved it. No outfielder retrieved it. The Twins need that hit to the outfield here to tie the game.
Yeah, 6 of the 8 base runners for the Twins have been because Scherzer has walked 6.
Presley took one of those walks. He's also struck out and popped up. Really nothing hit hard all night long against Scherzer. Inside, ball 1. He's trying to take advantage of the leadoff walk. And they'll need to score a couple of runs here to give Kevin Correia his 10th win of the year in his final start. Fouled back. the mask of Avila. 1-1. Avila's had concussion issues. Salvador Perez of the Royals. Carlos Santana, the Indians.
And of course, Joe Mauer.
And of course, Joe Mauer. 1-1 to Alex Presley. Chopped, foul, got a changeup, made contact.
I remember Twins catcher Ryan Dolan also.
Yep. One and two to Presley. Herman at second. He runs pretty well. Let's hope to get that big hit. Has been so far elusive against the 20-game winner Max Scherzer. Fastball trying to burn the outside corner. Might be the first time he's hit 97 on the night.
I like it too. He's a guy that talks to himself out there.
Matches season high in pitches, 122.
Just don't answer yourself.
Three and two. Dozier on deck, and this might be the last batter Scherzer faces, whether he gets him or not. Avila to the mound. And it's not the hits. The Twins have a couple of scratch singles, but it's the walks that have given them scoring opportunities here through the middle innings.
Yeah, there's his average pitches. They're about 106. Tonight, 122. 8 3-ball counts.
Six of them have resulted in ball four. 3-2 to Alex Presley. Little pop-up, short left field, and Dirks comes in.
They went to the changeup.
And Presley flies out. 7 very strong innings for Max Scherzer and a 1-0 Tiger lead.
Copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC. Well, good job by Kevin Correia. His night is done. 107 pitches, 68 strikes. Max
Max Scherzer, 123 pitches, 7 shutout innings. Brian Dunsing, the first one out of the bullpen, making his 71st relief appearance. 5 strikeouts for Brian and 59 innings pitched. And his job, keep it at 1-0.
Avila, Santiago, and Jackson in the 8th inning. Twins pitching staff bludgeoned in the 4-game loss in Oakland. And a much more competitive effort here with the Twins winning Monday night, losing 4-2 last night. 1-0 so far here. We've had a total of 14 runs scored, and we've almost completed 3 ball games. Vila off the end of the bat, 1 strike. All right, let me ask you, Ron Gardenhire left it out there yesterday in his meeting with the media that the Twins have not abandoned the thought of Brian Dunsing being a starting pitcher. And we've talked about this many times before as Dunsing shuttled back and forth on the rotation to the bullpen. What do you think he needs to do if in fact the Twins convert him back to a starter to be successful?
Well, I tell him now. I mean, tell him after the season that's their role, that they see him next year, so he can prepare himself to come to spring training and to be one of the starters. Don't surprise him in spring training.
All right. How does he prepare himself then in the offseason? Get
yourself in the best shape of your life, as you always do, but make sure that you build up your endurance. How do you do that? Long distance running. You know, there's so many different ways you build up your endurance, your leg strength, your foundation. Now, Brian, you know, he's got some starts at the major league level, and he has not done that badly. In his starts, 61 major league starts, he's 23-24 with a 4.57 ERA.
2010, the Twins won 94 ball games, and they did it with without a starting pitcher having an ERA of under 3.5. There were no Cy Young candidates, as there is with the Tigers. A guy who's already won one and a guy who probably will win one this year. And that year, Dunsing went 10-3, primarily out of the bullpen, but he made 13 starts. In fact, had a shutout during that season. And although he was not a regular starter, he pitched that year to an ERA of 2.62. Team leader in wins that year was Carl Pavano with 17. Strikeout of Avila. 1 down.
Well, I think Brian, I think he's capable of being a starter because he has 3 very good pitches.
The Alligators, TC at the ballpark. Tony Oliva in the dugout. Great opportunity to mix with the Twins players. Can be a part of the official spring training fan experience in 2014. You can learn more. Be ready to book as soon as the spring training schedule officially comes out. 612-276-3824. In terms of his repertoire of pitches, does he have enough? Does he need to add a pitch? You talked with Max Scherzer, and he added a curveball in spring training.
I think the biggest thing for Brian is have enough confidence in that changeup. He's got a good breaking ball. He can throw a couple of them. But when I say about breaking ball, he can get that slow one over for strike 1, and then the harder one like he struck out Avila on. The fastball, a little better control with a fastball. How do you do that? By just going down to the bullpen and just getting that fastball down and away, down and away, down. Do it over and over and over until in your mind you can throw that pitch at any time.
Strike 2 and 1.
And then take something on, then work on that changeup.
And it's a changeup that would help Dunsing get out primarily right-handed batters. Here's a high fly left center field. Presley over.
Well, I want your starter to do, okay, you're going to give up home runs. I can attest to that. It's your endurance that you can go deep into the ball game. Give me 6, 7 good innings, time in and time out in today's game.
Dunsing asked to get 2 guys here, and he got them both. Austin Jackson, a right-handed batter. Getting a smile from the manager. trying to keep it 1-0 and hopes for another late inning ambush.
Well, here's another guy. You talk about starters. The Twins tried starting Anthony Swarzak, and that did not fare too well in 28 career major league starts. He was 6-17 with an ERA just under 6. But this job for him right here is a long man. Now he's just trying to get a couple outs here tonight. But you see that 93 2/3 innings. This guy is durable. Nobody in Major League Baseball has thrown more innings out of the bullpen than Anthony Swarzak. As a reliever in 101 career relief appearances, he's 7-5 with a 3.55 ERA.
I guess ultimately the question will be, the Twins have the rotation marks back of the rotation guys. You've got Kevin Correia and some others that don't project as being a #1, an ace, and so then you have to ask yourself, well, can Swarzak or Dunsing ascend to #1 or #2 status as a starter? And if not, you might be creating more problems than you try to solve by moving them into the rotation.
Right, then you're depleting a very good bullpen.
Foul back.
Anthony, I think, has done a great job in this role. He can come back, if he has to pitch 3 or 4 innings, we'll see him maybe a couple days off, then he's back out there again. You don't want to lose that good arm out of the bullpen. And those are decisions that Rick Anderson and the organization will have to make. Ryan Presley, another one that did a lot of starting in the minor leagues, but he's done a great job out of that bullpen too. You can have the greatest bullpen in the world, but if your starters can't get you into the 7th inning on a consistent basis,
you end up having 3 years in a row like the Twins.
Exactly. And what you do is you wear down these guys in the bullpen.
To the right, Jackson has a hit, and it is knocked down by Domet. Jackson turns it into an extra base hit with 2 outs in the 8th. Tigers are threatening to add to the lead here in the 8th inning.
That ball hit sharply right there. Jackson, with his 2nd extra base hit of the ball game, takes his high fastball and just goes with it down that right field line.
It's Herman out there in right field. I said Domet. And now the guy who's wrecked the Twins, he's gotten 3 hits in every game so far and only 2 tonight.
Now this is where clubs kind of, Torii kind of looked at Doug. You going to walk me? Yeah, pitch to Cabrera? I don't think so.
Hunter drove in the 1st run, back in the 1st inning. Ball inside.
I think what you see in Torii Hunter is a guy that has just become a pure hitter, just a better hitter every year. Hit .313 last year, hitting over .300 this year.
Half swing, they'll appeal. No swing, says Adrian Johnson. 2-0.
For Torii, when he first came up, I think Torii wanted to hit everything out of the ballpark, and now he
left
says,
field.
Yep, now he wants to say, okay, you're going to pitch me away, I'll shoot it to right field.
Mentioned that his career bears a second look as the Twins are dealing with the disappointing season put out there by Aaron Hicks. 3-0. Hunter got a token appearance. In fact, he got in a game without an at-bat in 1997. 17 at-bats in 98. Spent most of the year at New Britain that year. 1999. Spent the whole year with the Twins. And then was sent back to AAA in 2000 before he came up for good in the middle of the 2000 season. 3-0 to Hunter. And he takes a belt-high strike. The lesson being that as good as he is now, there was a lot of back and forth, and Torii took exception to being sent down to AAA during the 2000 season after spending the whole 1999 season with the major league club.
You find out sometimes what you're made out of, and Torii Hunter got a lot of pride. He went down there, did well, came back up, and he is where he is now after 17 seasons at the major league level.
After spending half the season in AAA in 2000 and 2001, of course, he won a Gold Glove and hit 27 homers.
He's got 9 of those Gold Gloves.
Full count to Hunter here with Jackson at second and 2 away. Busted a bat. A roller to short. Florimo guns it to first and got him. Good play. And Swarzak and Dunsink combined to put a 0 up in the top of the 8th.
Welcome back to Target Field. It has been a pitcher's duel tonight. Both starting pitchers going 7 strong innings, and that's one of the things we'll take a look at on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, following the final out. We will also give you an updated look at the American League playoff picture. It continues to be an interesting, exciting race to the finish. And, of course, we'll go inside the Twins clubhouse here from manager Ron Gardenhire. And should the Tigers hang on to win and clinch the division title, we will also give you some Tigers reaction and post-game celebration. Guys?
All right, thank you, Jamie. Twins will try to strike against the Tiger bullpen now that Scherzer's finally out of the game, and they did strike against Jose Veras here the other night.
Yeah, they did. After Verlander threw 6 shutout innings, Drew Smiley came in, gave up a couple hits. Albuquerque worked out of it, and then Jose Veras ended up pitching the 8th inning, and the Twins, after striking out Parmalee, he ran into control problems. He walked Thomas, then he gave up an RBI double to Escobar, an RBI double to Doman, who pitched hit for Florimon, and he was out of the ballgame.
Twins comeback come from behind win began with a couple of runs against Veras in the 8th. They got the home run from Dozier against Benoit in the 9th, and finally won it against Pekonen in the 11th. It'll be Dozier, Plouffe, and Doman here in the Twins' 8th. Dozier with a walk and 2 strikeouts.
There's a hard throwing right-hander. Big breaking ball right there for strike 1. Came over from the Houston Astros on July 29th. Making his 24th appearance as a Detroit Tiger.
1 strike to Dozier. Driven to right center field, slicing away from Jackson, and he gets there on the track. Dozier gave it a ride, probably the hardest hit ball tonight for the Twins, but it's the first out of the 8th inning. Updated look at our AT&T Twitter poll. We're asking you who will win the AL Cy Young Award. Probably did a nice job of convincing a lot of fans here tonight. Max Scherzer gave up a couple of scratch singles and will probably win the award, I would guess.
He came in with that 3 ERA, now with 7 shutout innings. That ERA in the 2s, and I think that helps him too. But along with the 20-3 record. Maybe 21 if they hold on to this ball game.
Here's Plouffe. Another breaking ball. He's thrown 3 pitches, and they've all been breaking balls. Plouffe's last home run coming in Houston on September 3rd. Swings through a fastball, 0-2.
A fastball at 95. Barris at 6'6", 240 from the Dominican Republic. Came up with the Yankees in 2006.
Breaking ball blocked by Avila, 1-2. With a couple of hits in the ball game last night, had the average up to 250 last night.
Yeah, Barris was a closer in Houston. 21 saves for the Astros. There's a couple as a Detroit Tiger, but now Joaquin Benoit is a closer.
Tapper to short. Santiago double clutches, and Plouffe will reach. He'll get a hit with 1 out in the 8th, and that'll bring up Doman.
You know, that's why that play of Florimone to get Torii Hunter was such a nice play, because the way he charged in and threw a P over to Parmalee for the final out in the 8th inning.
Lee Thomas will pinch run here in the 8th.
But the breaking ball right off the end of the bat. And this little bit of hesitation, little bobble right there by Santiago. You can see that gives Plouffe maybe 1, maybe 2 extra big steps. And Plouffe beat it out. Well, Twins have 3 hits in a ball game and have yet to hit a ball out of the infield.
For a hit.
Yes.
Well, Jim Leland will mix and match here as we go through. So it'll be Drew Smiley coming in with the tying run at first and 1 out. Back late against the Tiger bullpen.
That'll be Drew Smiley coming into the ballgame. It's 3rd straight game that Smiley is going to make an appearance. Here on Monday night, he faced 2 batters, gave up an infield base hit to Presley, and then Herman singled. And then last night came in, faced only 1 batter, and struck out Presley in the 7th inning.
Doman, a much better hitter average-wise from this side of the plate. Lee Thomas, the pinch runner. He takes strike 1. Doman actually hitting .293 right-handed. And just .225 from the other side of the plate. Fastball missing, and it's 1-1.
You see Smiley, just 24 years old, straight over the top type of thrower. A left-handed pitcher that comes straight over the top, create that angle. Looks in a slider, curveball, and changeup. Mentioned the last couple nights, he's kind of the sixth starter for the Tigers in the bullpen all season long.
2-1. Veras and Smiley used here in part because Bruce Rondon, who blew the Twins away last night, striking out the side on 10 pitches, came to the ballpark today with a sore elbow, and it was the elbow that put him on the shelf for most of the month of September. 2-1. Doman taps it foul, 2-2. So wherever Jim Leland looks for some relief and some health from his bullpen as he approaches the playoffs, he keeps getting frustrated with an elbow here and an elbow there. Phil Koch sent back to Detroit because of a balky elbow. 2-2 to Ryan Doman. Foul back. If Doman gets a double, he will not get it between Miguel Cabrera and the third baseline. Cabrera almost standing on the line. In fact, right now he is standing on the line. That's how close he is to the third baseline.
And that's what you do late in the ball game. No extra base hits down that line. You'll give him a base hit to your left, and that will just normally be a single.
Another 2-2 to Doman. Inside, 3-2.
And Burke's out left field playing very deep. Deeper than Jackson or Hunter.
Let's have some speed in the pinch runner Thomas. We'll see if they move him here on a 3-2 pitch. One's had an inning ended when a strike him out, throw him out, back in the fifth. Full count to Doman. Thomas stays put, and the ball popped up towards second base. 2 away. What a pop-up. Very little hit solidly tonight. Two down, and that'll bring up Pinto. Has not put a ball in play tonight. Two strikeouts and a walk for the rookie catcher. Delivered the walk-off hit in the 11th inning here 2 nights ago.
Thomas getting a throw over. He has 1 stolen base in 4 attempts. I don't think he's in here to steal a base, but he is in here in case of an extra base hit to maybe score from first.
Pinto has 8 of those, 3 home runs and 5 doubles already. Strike on the outside corner. Swings through a 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, he's never, faced Smiley before. You think here's 2 guys that are 24 years old, and both of them did nice long careers, say 10+ years. They're going to be facing each other a lot. So Pinto getting his first look at Bruce Smiley.
2 strikes. Ron Gardenhire was impressed with Pinto's game-winning hit. He didn't try to do too much. He drilled a single to the opposite field. Two strikes to Pinto. On the outside corner. Strikeout starting to mount for Pinto, and the Tigers are 3 outs away from an American League Central championship. Tigers 3 outs away from winning the American League Central title for the 3rd year in a row. We've had 3 very competitive games here. Twins so far have won 1 and lost 1, but just to be a welcome sight for manager Ron Gardenhire after the tough road trip. Twins have come home, taken on a really good team with a lot of incentive, and they pretty much played them toe to toe.
Yeah, they really have, and that's very good for Twin fans too, to see the players not give up and keep battling. Hopefully something can happen good in the bottom of the 9th inning. But first, put a 0 on the board. It'll be Anthony Swarzak trying to get those 3 outs here in the top of the 9th.
Facing Cabrera, then Fielder, then Martinez. Up and away, ball 1. Doug Bernier, the new 3rd baseman for the Twins. Fastball on the outside corner.
Perfect spot.
And that's what has really been impressive about Swarzak this year. Despite the workload that the Twins have given him, his control has been very sharp throughout. It's one thing to throw strikes when you come out of the pen, but you need to throw quality strikes.
Quality strikes. And it all keys off that pitch 2 pitches ago, that good fastball down and away.
20 unintentional walks in nearly 100 innings, which is outstanding. Been stingy with the home run ball. He's just been good. Just off the corner with a 94-mile-per-hour heater.
And straight over the top. What I mean by straight over that top, that creates that downward angle.
Driven to right, hit well. And in the corner, Herman with the catch. 1 away. Cabrera so immensely powerful. When the ball heads out in that direction from a right-handed batter, you don't think so much of it in this ballpark unless you realize who the batter is.
Well, you see him limping back toward the dugout, so that's going to take some of the power too. Even though it's the left side, you still have to come through with those hips. And Swarzak out. He gets 2 outs. Does a good job.
Caleb Theobar will try to get the last 2 outs of the night. celebration time in the visiting clubhouse. Here's our CenturyLink link to what's next. The Indians are on their way to Minnesota. There are the pitching matchups, and the Indians potentially could clinch a postseason spot here at Target Field as well.
Yeah, the Twins already saw the Oakland A's clinch.
It may come down to that last game, Ubaldo Jimenez against Scott Diamond.
Well, you mentioned earlier about maybe, them thinking, the Twins, about bringing Brian Dunsing back next year as a starter. Like this guy here, he's a big part of that bullpen. I mean, you have Perkins, the closer, as a lefty. You have Thielbar. He's done a great job this year since he got called up in May. And if the Twins want to start Dunsing, then they have to probably go out and get one more lefty. I think Gardy would probably like to have two lefties out in that bullpen, along with Perkins.
Outside of Chicago, there's a shortage of left-handed starting pitching throughout baseball, and the Twins, I think, probably feel that more than most organizations. You got Andrew Albers and Scott Diamond, and then there's nobody that looks like they're on the horizon to help out. So that's why you'd consider the likes of Dunsing. Victor Martinez, the batter. Caleb Thielbar getting a quick second out.
Well, Caleb pitching last night's ball game, one shutout inning, a couple strikeouts. Making his 48th relief appearance.
Slow breaking ball off the plate. Martinez singled his last time up. Hot ground ball toward the hole, and Florimon was able to knock it down, and that's it. Strike. Leland said he didn't want to use him today, but there he is. Joaquin Benoit. Twins are due to send up Parmelee, Herman, and Mastroianni. 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good fastball right there. Martinez swinging through it. Straight over the top fastball.
The first batter of the game tonight scored the only run so far. The Tigers 3 outs away from a championship. championship, at least for another night. Actually, it would be 2 nights. The Tigers have a day off tomorrow in Miami. They want to go into that off day in Miami as champions in the American League Central. And Joaquin Benoit will try to get them there.
Well, Benoit picked up the save in last night's 4-2 win, and then he had his first blown save in the Twins' comeback win here on Monday night, making his 65th relief appearance.
Chris Parmelee will be the first man to face him. Parmelee doubled against him in the ballgame last night. It was a 2-run lead for the Tigers at the time, and Benoit settled things down and ended up striking out the side before and after Parmelee's double.
Yeah, Benoit threw 21 pitches here on Monday night, 20 pitches last night.
Parmelee also faced Benoit and grounded out to end the 9th inning 2 nights ago. Ramon Santiago's moving over from short to third in place of Cabrera, and Jose Iglesias comes in to play short for the Tigers. He's missed some time with a bruised hand and shin splints. Parmelee, then Herman and Mastroianni scheduled. Let's have Willingham on the bench. And he's in the hole here. Looks like he's going to hit for Mastroianni. Parmelee takes outside, ball 1. It should help Parmelee, you would think. In fact, it may have helped last night. He saw Benoit the night before, made it out, got the double last night, so he's faced him in this series almost as much as he's faced Max Scherzer. Two and 0. And Jim Leland did not want to use Benoit because this would be 3 days in a row.
I think with Benoit, he has such a good changeup. You almost have to say as a hitter, okay, I have to look fastball. I cannot miss it. And if he throws a changeup, well, maybe, you know, I can hit it in the left field. But you have to look dead red.
Got the fastball and fouled it. Got home plate umpire Field and Colbreth, it looked like.
And 93-mile-an-hour fastball, a little bit up in the strike zone, and Parmelee fouled it straight back.
Right off the grill. 2-1 to Parmelee. 2-2.
4 straight fastballs.
Twins have had at least a runner on in every inning since the 3rd. 3 runners in scoring position. Back in the 1st inning, had a runner at 3rd, but nothing across home plate. Two and 2. Benoit to Parmelee. Side nearly hit him. 3-2. Twins got a leadoff walk on the 7th. Herman only got as far as second base. He's taken 6 walks, all of them against Max Scherzer. Full count to Parmelee.
Feel of setting away a little bit.
High fly to center. And Jackson with the catch, 1 down. And the Tigers are 2 outs away.
This is what you can imagine a postseason game being, and Benoit really his first season as a closer. He's saved some ball games, but these are situations trying to hold on in that 1-0 lead, and you know you're fighting for the championship right here. It'd be like a postseason game. So Benoit going to try to see how he does here.
Chris Herman taking low, ball 1. Herman a strikeout, a pop up, and a walk against Scherzer.
All fastballs so far from Benoit.
Champagne is on ice in the visiting clubhouse. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Another fastball. That one at 95. He's not throwing a changeup yet.
Two and two to Chris Herman. Another fastball and a strikeout, and the Tigers are 1 out away.
Another strikeout for the Twins. They've struck out 42 times, make it 43 times in this 3-game series.
Benoit gave up the home run to Brian Dozier in the 9th inning 2 nights ago, and on the very next pitch, Josh Willingham hit the ball as hard as he possibly can right at Austin Jackson. The ball was caught, but Willingham, maybe the hardest ball he's hit in September. Strike call. Willingham thought it was up and away. Charge of the field. Down low, 1-1. If Willingham can extend the game, Florimon is in the on-deck circle.
That was the first pitch, a slider other than a fastball that he has thrown.
One and one to Willingham. 1-2.
There's a changeup right there at 84.
Twins won back-to-back championships in the American League Central in 2002, 3, and 4. Now the Tigers trying to do it, and they're 1 strike away. Up, back, and out of play.
Josh 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter.
Another 1-2 pitch to Josh Willingham. For the 3rd year in a row, the Detroit Tigers are the champions in the American League Central.
And let the celebration begin for the Tigers.
Tip of the cap across the diamond to Ron Gardenhire and the Twins.
Congratulations, guys.
Hats and t-shirts already being distributed.
Torii Hunter leading the cheer. guys. Watch. And take it in. Maybe next year you'll be there.
The prohibitive favorite in the division before the season started. And I would think one of the favorites once the postseason begins. They have it all. They have a dominant starting rotation with potentially 2 Cy Young Award winners in it. A very potent middle of the lineup. Congratulations to Jim Leyland and the Tigers. They are a dominant team, and they've won back-to-back-to-back championships in the American League Central. Anthony?
We'll hear from several members of the Tigers coming up on the postgame show. We'll break down the pitchers' duel here at Target Field tonight. And hear from Ron Gardenhire. We'll also look ahead at the series against the Cleveland Indians. It's all next on Twins Live.